Once again, session of Hoodies the podcast. Test 1, 2. This is Hoodies. Let's do it, man. Live from the skill suite. Yo, coming at you, man. Yeah. Are we back? 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 Word. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Word. Let's do it, man. Welcome back to another dope episode of Hoodies the podcast. I'm the host of Garvey Sheedy, coming at you live from the skill suite. Well, maybe not so live, but we coming at you. Word. How y'all doing, man? Y'all good? Listen, man, before we get into this, I just want to wish everybody well who's watching this right now. Right? I hope your breathing is good. I hope your ankles ain't swole. I hope your feet ain't swole. You know what I'm saying? I hope your lower back ain't hurting you. I hope you're getting a decent night's rest. You know, I hope you're good with your people. I hope you good with your tribe. All good things. I wish nothing but all good things on everybody watching this, man. So when I ask how y'all doing, I really mean it. How are y'all doing? Because I ain't gonna front. I cur. But listen, before I go any further, you know I got to get in my bag at least once every episode, right? And of course, it's my same rhetoric that health is wealth, man. Take your health serious. I ain't just talking hitting the gym or working out. Of course, I'm also talking about diet. I'm also talking about, and I'm not just talking about the physical. I'm also talking about popping the hood and checking the engine. You understand? If you're over 40, male or female or whatever, if you're over 40, get you a colonoscopy done. And I'm saying that because I be having these conversations with brothers as I'm cutting their hair and whatnot, but sisters too. And, you know, some brothers are, hey, believe it or not, some of them are indifferent. They don't really care. You know, listen, in this day and time, there's still people who are claiming a relative's, you know, health condition. Shit, my Uncle Lester, man, shit, he lived to a ripe old age. He drank, smoked, did whatever he wanted to do. He ate pork. Listen, man, I'm sure your Uncle Lester was a cool dude. But his DNA is his DNA, not yours, fam. You may not necessarily be so lucky. Different makeup. You understand? Let's have a transparent moment here. Can we do that? Let's have a transparent moment, right? It's because at 40, I didn't get my colonoscopy. I didn't just get mine until a couple weeks ago, right? Not happy about, you know what I'm saying, having done it so late, but it's better late than never. So yeah, man, the procedure is you know, sometimes we make things, you know, worse in our minds or whatever. And look, I get why a lot of men don't want to rock with it because they going in your back door. I get it. You know what I'm saying? That's not lost on me. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's really not that bad. You know, I mean, shit, the hardest part is the solution that they give you to flush your system out, right? And that's not even that bad. Because the day before the procedure, you know, at least at this particular place where I've got the procedure done, you know, they put you on an all-liquid diet the day before. So by the time you take the solution, it ain't a whole lot in you to flush anyway, to flush out anyway, right? So yeah, man, I get there to the place, and if I'm being honest, since I should have gotten it done at 40, you know, before now, I'm 52, I was a bit nervous. I ain't gonna front. Not necessarily even about the procedure, right? Because I figured they either put you to sleep or numb you up or something, some kind of way or whatever. I was nervous about the results. What if my shit came back and I got something, you know? talking all this healthy shit, and this nigga sick. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna front. That was on my mind. But anyway, you get there, you flush, this, that, and third, whatever. Next thing you know, the doctor's putting the little sleep stuff in your IV, putting the oxygen john over, your nostrils. And she was like, "Sweet dreams." And boom, I was done. I just remember saying, "Damn, that's direct." And next thing you know, I was waking up. Right? So to get even more transparent, oh man, fuck it. To get even more transparent, the doctor who came in and did the procedure told me that they found some polyps. Three of them. 3 polyps. 3 of them. I don't mind sharing. Transparent moment. And so, they, took 3 polyps, removed 3 polyps from my insides. They take them out and send them off to see if they're precancerous or whatever. And to get even more transparent, my 3 polyps were precancerous, right? And had I not had that procedure, right, they would have grown over many years, and by many I mean 7 to 15. They weren't huge. Well, one of them had a decent little size on them, and then the others not so much. But so had I not had that procedure, over some years, they say many, they would have grown and would have become colorectal cancer. Boom. So that's why I'm saying that. And might I add, let me knock on wood real quick. Might I add that I'm really grateful. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that I have the wherewithal to give a shit about my health. On a deeper level than just, trying to stay in some kind of shape. On a deeper level than watching the things I eat, the things I consume. Positive mindset, company you keep, a good diet. Right? Deeper than that is to, like I say all the time, pop the hood, check the engine. See what's going on with the inside of your car. You get what I'm saying? Check your ticker. If you're a brother, prostate, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Health, the older you get, you realize that health is truly wealth. Right? Had I not had that procedure and just maybe was indifferent toward at least that part of my health, over many years, I would have developed cancer in my colon. I believe that's what good brother, the late Chadwick Boseman, I believe that's what got him out of here. May he rest well. I think that was his cause of his transition, is that he had, I believe, stage 4 colon cancer. Don't quote me, but I believe that's what it was. And like I said, yeah, man. And then they tell you, so in so many years, come back and get another one done. Motherfucker, you best believe I will be there getting it done. Dead ass. But I'm only saying all of this to let you know that I'm not just up here just running my mouth and just talking. I ain't just talking. I'm walking it. And again, I'm extremely grateful that I have the wherewithal to even think like that, because there are so many people who are not. You know some. You may even be one of them. You know what I'm saying? Get serious about your health. Get serious about your health. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Other than that, like I said, I hope your feet ain't swollen. I hope your head ain't hurting. I hope you ain't got no migraines. I wish you all who's watching this, and whoever's in the bathroom listening to their nephew or their lady or they dude or whoever, watch this. If you can hear this, you know what I'm saying? I wish you a clean bill of health, dead ass. I wish you a clean bill of health. You know what I'm saying? I wish you all of that. And with that said, and if everybody's good, you can go ahead and get into this. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. So check it. Listen, man. For those of you who's been rocking with me for some years, and there's a few of you who's been rocking with me for some years. Full. Hold on. Need that. So yeah, if you've been rocking with me long enough, right? In some of my real early episodes, especially just when I was just audio, I would talk about a lot of not too current, but I would talk about unjust shootings and things of that nature. You know, black folk being subjected to, you know, the rage of white folk. And I know that's kind of weird how I worded that, but y'all smart. I'm sure you can get that. So I'm saying that to say that my heart goes out to everybody. Well, first of all, the family of Nolan Wells. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much going on. If you, everybody's talking about it right now, so it's a big thing. His young brother had some Caucasian friends. They went on, I believe, some sort of boat ride or something like that. They left together. Only, you know, the white dudes, the white folk made it back. The brother, Nolan Wells, did not. Right? However, those Caucasian folk was in possession of his phone. Nolan Wells is a young dude, and you know, young folk keep their phone on them. And so the young man was found unalived, and don't nobody know nothing. And it's obvious that there's some foul play. That's real obvious. He had his funeral. His so-called friends didn't show up. Now that I don't really blame that, because you already got to know it's going to be crazy in there. You know, y'all are the folk that everybody, what y'all did with Nolan Wells is in question. So to show up, it would have been pandemonium. I'm of the belief it would have been pandemonium. So it's best that they didn't go. But if you listen to everybody, including all the podcasts and things like that, that's talking about it, discussing it, nobody knows what really happened except the people who were there. So a lot of us are, you know, speculating and just commenting on the optics and how it looks, and I get that. I'm saying all of this to say that if you watch my content now, I don't really talk about things like that so much. It's been quite a while since I have. And I may have mentioned this some years ago, but the reason why I don't do that anymore is because, see, I'd find out about these things, Philando Castle, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, Freddie Gray, and all these folk. See, I would scroll through social media, be it Instagram or the site X, the site formerly known as Twitter. I need to start just calling it X. Just call it what the fuck it is, right? And so I would see these videos. I would read these posts, and when I would see these videos and read the posts, doing so would incite anger within me. It would really trigger me. It would really, I'll just be enraged. The fuck? In fact, you know, these things happening, white folk doing shit to black folk, that was a huge part. If you've been watching my content, these pods, a huge part as to why I decided to get armed. Because my thing is, nope. If I'm going, everybody going. I'm getting some fucking protection. Largely in part of that. And sidebar, the crazy part about that even, something I'm not proud to admit, is that even with my reasons as to why I decided to get strapped, look at me leaning to the side because it's a sidebar. Nigga Rashidi, right? Even with my reasons for getting armed, I'll most likely have to pull out on one of my own kind, probably before that happens. Pains me to say that. End of sidebar. Anyway, okay, and along with being enraged, and just being just outright pissed off, right? It would also, when I would see these things and read these things, it would also give me a sense of helplessness. You know what I'm saying? A sense of helplessness. Because here it is, there's some I would want justice. Here it is, some injustices popping off. And I want to do something. But you don't necessarily know what it is you can do. What are you going to do? Go shoot the perpetrators who hurt that brother or that sister or whatever? Tearing up the neighborhood, come on, man, that don't work. So there's this feeling of helplessness. It's some shit going, and there's nothing I can do. And so I got to a point where I would just kind of just scroll away, just keep going. I can never see another post, never hear another story, never see another social media video and know what's going on out here. It's depressing, man. And I don't want to be depressed. Instead, I take all my energy and do and say whatever it is I can with my program, the Skill Youth Chess Club, and prepare them. Right? Every so often, take an assessment of who you call friends and who you go away with and spend time away with folk, doing things and going places you ain't never been. I just put all my energy where I feel like it could be more beneficial. Not because I don't give a shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? Black first is always, that's just who I am. And then everybody else after that. That's where I'm at with it. So I just wanted to say that. So my heart goes out to the family of Nolan Wells. And personally, I think everybody should fucking be arrested, man. Till we get some fucking answers. You know what I'm saying? And but no, we don't have all the answers. After all because everybody else is outraged as well, and they should be. But after you hear everybody's POV, at the end of the day, we don't know what happened just yet. Just yet. And that's all I gotta say about that. So let's move along. So check it. Check this out right here. Yeah.
But this individual, a young lady, told me, she said, I ain't no African. I'm an American. I don't even like Africa. How do you deal with that kind of mentality?
First place I reached for my handkerchief. That's a sad and sick human being. An Italian would never say, I'm not an Italian. Although he's been here 5 generations, he would never say that. A Jewish person will never stop claiming Palestine, though his claim to Palestine is open to question, but he ain't gonna stop claiming it. A German will never stop claiming German, though he's been here 5 generations. You're an African person wherever you are on the face of this earth. You walk this earth as an African person. You are not less an American because you're an African person born on American soil and raised under American conditions.
So Shout out to the legacy, well, the memory and the legacy of John Henry Clark. John Henry Clark, the brother who told us that black folk don't owe nobody nothing but an ass whooping. Okay? He says, I only debate my equals. All others I teach. It's John Henry Clark. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who John Henry Clark is? Give him a Google. See for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Historian, professor, Pan-Africanist. Look him up. Read about him. Read about the man them. Right? And I happen to agree with everything that came out the late John Henry Clark's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because there's this thing. You know, you really don't see it too much in real life. It's usually like an online thing. So I only take it so serious. You know, foundational Black Americans. I got nothing against the whole concept of foundational Black Americans. I have no issues with foundational Nigerians, or Africans, if you will. Foundational Jamaicans, foundational Haitians, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody, regardless of where you were born, Haiti, Jamaica, America, we're all Africans. In fact, mankind comes from us. Mankind. That's been proven many, many, many years ago. In fact, I knew that in high school when I took anthropology. Some of the oldest bones found from black folk. From black folk. Look at all the shades of man. You can get those shades from black, but you can't get black from those shades. You understand what I'm saying? And might I add, I think it's rather pussy on the part of Native Africans, on the part of Jamaicans, on the part of Haitians, Black Americans, and everything in between. Right? To have such disdain for one another. For example, when a Native African got some funky shit to say about Black Americans. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. I can't stand that shit. Or when a foundational Black American has something to say about a Native African. You know, or a Haitian got something to say about a Jamaican, and so on and so forth. I think that shit is just pussy. Because we will sit around here and call each other tethers and this, that, and the third. Right? Nigga, we all suffer the same fate. We all suffer the same fate. It's so, and I say it's pussy because how come ain't none of these Native Africans, foundational Black Americans, why y'all ain't saying some of this shit to white folk? Why you don't go off on white folk the way you go off on one another? I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm for black folk everywhere. The whole diaspora. As far as I'm concerned, we are all one. I get it. Not everybody's on that wave. I get that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Even Marcus Garvey said that everybody ain't gonna be able. Some people ain't no good now, and they wouldn't be no good back in the motherland. And I'm not even sure if that's a realistic goal anymore, considering how divided we are. We are a divided people. The diaspora is fucking divided. Sure, culturally we're different because we grew up under different circumstances. Y'all have heard me say some of these things before. It's just time for a fucking retrain. This shit really grinds my gears. And That clip is from quite a while away. That happened a while ago. Folks still talk like that to this day. Can't stand Africans. like we're so much better than them. Or like they're so much better than us. How help me understand. If you're a Haitian, do you think you're better than American black people because you speak French? Do you think you're a Frenchman? I don't get it. If you're a black Londoner, right? Do you think you're better than a Haitian or native African or a black American? Are you under the impression that because you speak the Queen English that you're better? That you have some sort of advantage? I don't get it. I don't get it. Just like black folk here in America, you can't go looking for images of different countries in Africa for the longest time. That's one thing I can say about social media is that when used correctly, you can learn a lot about different places. You know what I'm saying? But before that, a lot of us bought the idea that Africans were living in huts and this, that, and the third and all kinds of crazy shit. Africa's fucking beautiful. Now, it's starting to be colonized by the Asians. I want to say China. Our brothers and sisters over there still don't own a lot. The conditions haven't changed all that much. So sure, a lot of these places aren't necessarily under colonial rule, but shit, it's got some colonial influence left on it. The minds of Native African, just black folk throughout the whole diaspora, our minds for the most part are still colonized. And religion was one of those tools used to do it. Man, we got so much shit that keeps us divided. And the person who came up with foundational Black Americans, or just the whole concept anyway, I hear him talking about tether and... Hold on a second. Hold on. All right, hold on. Yeah. Tether. In online social media slang, a tether is a derogatory term used by some internet commentators to criticize black immigrants or non-American black people. I don't like it. I never have liked it. I've never liked it. Dead ass. I just think it's pussy. You don't hear black folks saying that shit to Jewish folk or anything. You just don't hear that. You always hear us spewing that type of shit to one another. And again, I was saying the person who came up with, I want to say Tariq Nasheed had a big part, a big hand to play in that. And he's not the only one. There's some other names. Can't think of them at the moment. I suppose it's not even important. I'll just say this. I donated some money toward that Hidden History Museum. And where the fuck is that museum at? I think it's a comedy club and some other shit now. What happened to the Hidden History Museum? So if everybody donated money, you know what I'm saying? Because their hearts, in our minds and our hearts, we wanted to see a Hidden History Museum. Because if you know, Tariq Nasheed got the Hidden History educational DVDs. Learned a lot. from those. And so there was supposed to come a hidden history museum. Where's that museum at? And if we donated toward that museum and there is no museum, isn't it safe to say we got scammed? We donated toward a cause. Years have gone by. Ain't heard a word. Ain't seen a ting. Ain't seen not one person go there and tag themselves there. Sounds like we got scammed. All I hear is let's get another word. We learning here today. Another word. So we see tether. Let's see, grifter. Here we go. A grifter is a con artist, swindler, or scammer. They are a person who gets money or property from others dishonestly through deception, lies, manipulation, rather than using physical force. They use charm, fake credentials, or emotional manipulation to make victims willingly hand over money. Sounds like a lot of folk. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like preachers and this, that, and the third. For black folk to make it anywhere, matter of fact, never mind. I was going to say I'm not even going to touch that. I'm going to leave that Nolan Wells situation. I'm going to leave that Nolan Wells situation alone. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to shut my mouth on it. But I say this all the time. It's so easy to look at another black person and call them a tether or call them dakata or whatever other slang word Native Africans or Jamaicans or whatever has toward the other. I just think it's crazy. Like the late John Henry Clark said, you don't see the German denouncing being German, but you see a bunch of black Americans. Shit, I ain't African. I hear it all the time. I don't even like Africans. I don't even like Africa. I don't feel nothing for it. It sounds stupid. I don't feel nothing for it. We need to tighten up. We definitely need to tighten up. I keep telling y'all, ain't nobody coming back to save us, man. We are all we got. We need to let that go. Shit, we need to let go religion. And if we are going to be all up in religion, then we need to create some shit of our own. And why not? The shit's made up anyway. We need to come up with our own. And one of the pillars, like I've been saying for years, one of the pillars, right, in this religion, because listen, a religion is just what you constantly do. It's what you already do. One of the pillars of that religion needs to put black first and then branch out and work with others. I'm not saying there aren't pockets of us that work together now. There's a shitload of us who work together now. I think we need to grow in numbers when it comes to that. My program, your program, all these programs to mentor children, women mentor. So folk are active. We outside. Folk are active. New Era Detroit. You got different branches. New Era Chicago. New Era everywhere. So black folk are active. Definitely. We need to grow. And then also at the same time understand that not everybody's going to be with it. Some folk like that. And I would say Tariq Nasheed and others like him, right? It sounds rather suspect. Why would you want to divide your folk? Why would you want to divide black folk? Why would you want to divide the diaspora? Why would you want the diaspora to be divided? I'm of the belief that we got so much to fucking share. We got so much to share. I hear that, you know, our brothers and sisters over on the continent, our brothers and sisters over in the UK and Jamaica and so on and so forth, but they kind of look at Black Americans as like, boom, I'm going to get, because if you notice, a lot of them talk like us. The swag, everything is like us. Now, I'm not saying this to divide us. I'm just saying there's so much we can learn from each other. So much we can learn. And since there's so many grown folk who are misguided, you know, and don't give a damn about no type of truth, because, you know, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. So to hell with them, man. I guess I got to get back on it. Mentorship is the way. Start with them babies, man. Start with the babies. Because folk are stuck in their ways. You know what I'm saying? They're going to keep going with some folk, you can show them all kinds of shit and they still going to stay with it. Just is what it is, the nature of the beast. But if you a kid and you watching this and you Black, you are African. We are African. I don't care how fair skinned we are. We make all shades. You know what I'm saying? You are African. I don't care where you were born, what circumstances you were born under, what culture you were born under. I don't care what language you speak. You African. You know what I'm saying? And every time they start asking folk, we ain't African. Well, okay, show me something. Show me something. I mean, I hear you. I see the passion. I see the conviction. Show me something. Nobody ever can. Kind of like that Illuminati thing. That Illuminati shit. Everybody talks so passionate about it. And as soon as you ask them, well, where you get them, because anybody can make a YouTube video, put some celebrity faces on it, along with some music, and post it on YouTube. Anybody, I can do that right now. I can do it in my sleep. Where can I read on this information? Huh? We are African. Can't run from it. You know? Yeah, man. That's all I gotta say about that. Let's move along.
Why women pick fights. So this can be an exasperating phenomenon for a lot of the men out there, especially those in relationships. Why is it that your woman seems to create unnecessary difficulties? Why does she pick fights over small and insignificant things? Well, I'm here to explain to you why that might be the case. The key to understanding this phenomenon is appreciating that emotion is reinforcing. I didn't say positive emotion was reinforcing. I said emotion was reinforcing. Emotion of all kinds is reinforcing to women. You see this kind of response in children as well. For example, most children would rather experience negative attention than no attention at all. And this is what, in part, creates class clowns in grade school or rebellious teenagers and adolescents. If all emotion is reinforcing, then it's not negative emotion that is punishing. It's the absence of emotion that is punishing. Indeed, one of the most difficult things for a woman to tolerate in a relationship is the absence of emotion. The absence of emotion is experienced by most women as punitive, as punishing. This is why, if you ever want a certain behavior to disappear, it's better to respond with a neutral, non-reinforcing reaction than to respond with anger or frustration. The more unemotional the response, the less likely the eliciting behavior will be repeated in the future. And this is because the absence of emotion is punishing. And this is where a lot of guys get into trouble, because men, in part due to their temperament and in part due to socialization, are generally not very emotionally expressive. What's more, a man isn't always prepared to engage with a woman more or less on demand. Sometimes he's tired. Sometimes he's preoccupied. Sometimes he just wants to be left alone. In fact, there seem to be some important gender differences in how men and women tend to respond to emotional stressors. Whereas women generally prefer to talk things out in order to feel better, men often prefer to withdraw into the bat cave to solve the problem. Men like to go inside, to isolate, to incubate, and to resolve the problem internally before emerging with a solution, or at least a plan of action. Of course, it would be very helpful for women to understand that when men are disinterested in interacting with them, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a problem with them. They just have a problem. It's occupying their attention, and they don't want to cope with the problem in the same way that women do. And indeed, it is probably in everyone's best interests if the man and the woman can gently avoid each other for a while the man goes through his process. Unfortunately, many women push harder for connection at these times, mostly because they are treating their men the way that they would like to be treated if they were in the same situation. And this typically creates an escalating crisis, because when a woman attempts to interact with a man in this state, she is met with a relative absence of emotion, as the man has begun to withdraw within himself. And this withdrawal will typically be experienced by the woman as punishing, especially if she tends to be more anxious or insecure. She might begin to worry that something is wrong, and now the man has a new problem on his hands that he didn't have before. Now, when people are insecure or anxious, they tend to seek reassurance that everything is okay. And one of the ways that women can seek reassurance in relationships is by picking fights. I understand that from a masculine perspective, this sounds ridiculous, but there is actually some validity to this perspective. Namely, an angry response reassures that you still care. Because when people can no longer be bothered to get angry, you can be fairly certain that the relationship is on its last legs. So if you're concerned that someone might be pulling away or someone might be looking for the door, one way to potentially seek reassurance of their continued commitment is to provoke their anger. Because in a way, you demonstrate that the other is still invested enough to respond emotionally. On the other hand, if you were to respond to these provocations with boredom or indifference, then her anxiety is likely going to go through the roof. And this explains the otherwise puzzling phenomenon that when a woman is out of sorts, picks a fight with you, and actually succeeds in making you angry, she feels better. I know every man out there has experienced this. She feels better. As soon as your woman succeeds in making you angry, it's like all of her own anxiety and uncertainty just evaporates, allowing her to go on her merry way. And since it generally takes men longer to return to emotional baseline than women, this leads to the psychotic experience of dealing with someone who just an hour ago was spiteful and aggressive and who is now sweet and playful and acting like nothing happened. This happens because your anger reassured her, which allowed her to move past her anxiety and insecurity.
Okay, that was a lot. That was a whole lot, but I found that to be very interesting. I can't remember that man's name. I ain't gonna front. I can't remember his name, but I see him on TikTok pretty often, right? And this particular clip right here I found very, very interesting, right? Very interesting. So let's unpack that just a little bit. So let's get this straight. So what he's saying, let's work through this. So what he's saying is, he's saying that when a woman feels like there's a lack of emotion in the relationship dynamic, right? When she feels that there's no emotion, that can then give her some anxiety because she needs certainty. And if there is no certainty, then again, that brings anxiety. She's bugging out. And I've always wondered this too. If you a man, I'm of the belief that if you a man, we all understand what that dude is talking about. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder what the fuck is her problem? Why the fuck is she bugging? And as soon as she sees that we are off our square and pissed off, all of a sudden, yeah, she feels better. She feels better. All that anxiety and angst is gone. Meanwhile, we're still pissed. We're still pissed. Because what the fuck was that about? And you mean to tell me that all of that is because she doesn't feel any emotion? Interesting that he brought up children. Interesting that he brought up children who figure out at a young age that, hey, bad attention, good attention, it doesn't matter. Just as long as I get some emotion, just as long as I get some attention. Wow. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me. I'm asking for your forgiveness because I'm almost at a loss for words. I really am. I'm almost at a loss. Ain't no almost to it. I am. I'm at a loss for words. What do we do with that? I mean, okay, well, how about this? How about shit? How about as men? We do our damnedest to be so much at peace within ourselves that the shit that women do to like fight, still nitpicking and start some shit because what they're trying to do is evoke some emotion out of you. And if they get some emotion out of you, I see that he still cares. Because that's a pretty fucked up way to gauge of whether or not I still care. It's very interesting. I'll say that. Be so at peace with oneself that you don't fall for that okie doke. And I suppose then hope she can find her way out of that shit. Probably wouldn't hurt to use your words, ladies. And I'm only talking about the ladies who find themselves doing said thing. You know? Maybe you need to find better ways to process your emotions. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? We gotta fight? If you wanna know if I care, ask me. You know? A fight, though? Why not something more constructive? You know what I'm saying? I'm at a loss for words. And again, very, very interesting that he brought up kids. Very, very interesting. And I've heard quite a few people make the comparison between women and children. I find that to be interesting too. You know what I mean? And let me just for the record say that maybe not all women. Very interesting. We'll have to come back and speak on this another time when I've processed it more. You know, because that's a hell of a lot to go through to find out if someone cares enough, is invested enough. Someone pushes buttons and pick a fight over the most ridiculous shit. He was right about one thing. He was right about one thing. He said that it sounds utterly ridiculous. Indeed, it does. This shit sounds bonkers. I don't have to fucking fight with you. Just so you can see that I care. Hey, man. That's a lot. Word. So, LeBron James is in Philly now, huh? LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. Joel Embiid is having a healthy offseason. They got Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, KCP just signed with them, Anthony Simons, and some other folk. On paper, it sounds like a pretty good team. Sound better than the Celtics, who got Mitchell Robinson, Paul George. We got Mike Conley for a year. And probably a couple other pieces. Then, of course, there's Jason Tatum and Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Kata, Hauser. Okay. I think there's a Gonzalez there. Walsh is there. Yeah, so we'll see. I really don't know what to expect from the Celtics this coming season. But I tell you this, though. I hope for opening night is Sixers and the Celtics. And not, say, Sixers and the Knicks. I get it, it's ring night for the Knicks since they won a championship and all. But I would because the 76ers and the Celtics, there's more of a storyline there. Right? There's more of an energy there. With Jaylen Brown being traded, everybody feeling the ways about it, including him, including the Celtics coach. You see what I'm saying? So it would just be a pretty intense, I think, I'm of the belief that that would be a pretty intense matchup opening night. Come on, man. You want ratings? Match them up, Adam Silver. Dead ass. Make that happen. You know? Man. But before that, football season will be back. Football season will be back. And yeah, me and little bro, we got something cooking. By the time the football season kicks in, we got something cooking. Word up. And I'm excited about that. It's time to branch off and do different things here. Let's try some things, yeah? Word. And that's all I gotta say about that. Word. So before I get out of here, you know how I do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you if you got a born day today. I salute you. New life, more life. You know what I'm saying? As I always say, you're the only one with this fingerprint. You know, you only live once. You know, the thing about born days is that they're not fabricated. You know what I'm saying? Like it may be some funny business on your birth certificate. You You know, your daddy, I ain't gonna do that. But I'm just saying, I'm going off that Bernie Mac episode where he looked and the dude he thought was his uncle was really his daddy. That's what I mean by funny business on the birth certificate. My point is, well, I was gonna say you only got one life to live, but we don't know what happens when we transition from here. We don't know what happens when we depart. So I would just say, life is short. In this dimension, life is short. On your longest day, life is short. So live it up. You know what I'm saying? Again, happy born day to you. Live it up, do your thing, yeah. Word. Yeah, man. That's all I got. I want to thank everybody for all your engagement. You know, I kind of been MIA for the past couple weeks. You know, life be lifing sometimes. And, you know, it is what it is. But thank you for your engagement. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for all that, man. Thank you for giving me yet another reason to come back and hop on the mic and, you know, and spit it. You dig? So, look, man, we all we got. We are all we got. And also, from what I hear, our people are out there boycotting these Asian businesses, particularly the ones who haven't been good to us in our communities. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. That's what I'm talking about. So listen, when I say that we need to get our shit together, I'm saying, contrary to what angry older folk, my age and older, or even a little younger, gotta say, we ain't all this bullshit. Contrary to all of that, we are making strides. But understand, the strides in the positive way for our people will never be televised on a large scale. Just know that. And I'm speaking to myself too. It's never, in fact, it may be demonized. It may be shunned. You got to understand, there's a reason for our division. There's a reason why entities want to keep us divided as a people and as a race of people. And when I say that, I mean white, Latino, Asian, There's a reason, okay? There's a reason for the division. If all people got together, we'd realize who was really screwing us. We'd realize who was really fucking us, who the real culprit is, who's really fucking us over. They don't want that. So, you know, we need, you know, we need some shit going on, because it perpetuates the division. Right? Then we need grifters and such keeping us divided. You know, listen, being proud of oneself doesn't mean that everybody else is a tether and this, that, and the third. The whole diaspora needs to get their shit together. Dead ass. Hey, and boycotting those stores is a wonderful step. I salute you, brothers and sisters. I salute you. I don't eat at them anyway. Yeah. So there it is. And particularly the ones, you know, in these neighborhoods that haven't been good to the patrons there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Again, I want to thank you for liking the shorts, and the engagements, the comments, the shares. I think I got a couple new subscribers, and slowly but surely, you know what I mean? Slowly but surely, I'll keep you posted on some new content, some new projects we got popping. So for my true blues, my twos and fews, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting late. So it's good to be back. It's good seeing y'all, man. I hope you good. Take your health serious. You know what I'm saying? Move your body. Move your body. Move your body. Move your body. Alright? Y'all stay up. I'm the God Rashidi. And this is Hoodies, man. Peace. Hey. This is Hoodies.